Hey guys, you're welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Synthetic Goddess. If you are new to this channel, kindly hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell to be notified whenever I drop any video. Alright, so in this video, I want to talk about point of interest. So when we talk about point of interest, which is POI, we are talking about areas you are expecting the market to go into and then react from there. You are expecting the market to get to a particular point and then react. That is where we get that is what we call our point of interest. Also, we have area of interest, meaning the area you are expecting the market to get to and react. That is our area of interest. Now, the difference between area of interest and point of interest is that in point of interest, you are expecting the market to get to a particular point. You are marking out a particular point that this area, the market has to react to this area, to this point. The market has to react to this particular point. But area of interest, you are marking a whole area. You're marking out a whole area, and then you are expecting the market to get to that area and use any point to react, meaning you are expecting the market to get to any area and use any point in that area to react. But for point of interest, you are expecting the market to react at that particular point you are marking out. So let's take, for instance, we can have an area of interest to be all of this. You can have an area of interest to be from this high to this particular low, but your point of interest can just be this other block, this particular other block. Your point of interest can just be this particular other block. But for your area of interest, the market can use this low, the market can come into this area to react, the market can use anywhere, but it does not have to break this high, which is the area of interest. But for point of interest, you are just marking out this area and you want market to react at this point. You are expecting market to react at this particular order block. That is where you are expecting the market to react. That is the difference between your area of interest and your point of interest. And when we talk about point of interest, there are different areas, there are different places you can mark out as your point of interest. Now guys, I'm going to tell you to always make use of area of interest. I'll tell you to always make use of area of interest because you cannot decide for what the market should do. You cannot decide what the market should do. You are only expecting the market to react at any area. You are not expecting the market to react at a particular point, especially if you are a synthetic trader. If you are waiting for the market to react at a particular point, you might wait for long. Number one, the market might not react from there. Number two, the market can just use that place as a reaction point and still blow it off. The market can just use it as a reaction point and blow that area off. So if you make use of area of interest, you are fixing your mind that this particular area, I am expecting the market to react at this particular area. But if it breaks this high, it simply means it is invalidated. But if you are marking out a particular place and the market blows it off, you start feeling you are not really good with the market, or you don't really know what you are doing in the market. Okay, so I always tell people to make use of area of interest. Make use of area of interest the most, and you are going to see how it works perfectly for you, because you are going to be using entry confirmation to enter your area of interest. You are not just entering the market based on what you are feeling. Okay, you will enter the market based on what the market is doing, not based on what you are feeling. Okay, so let's go ahead, guys. So we have two types of points of interest. Okay, we have two types of interest. Okay, we have the primary point of interest, we have the secondary point of interest. We have the primary point of interest, we have the secondary point of interest. Now if you are able to get these two, okay, if you are able to get these two, you mark out your area of interest from that point and then wait for the market to get into that area and start reacting. So if market gives you an entry confirmation, you ride with the sell, or you ride with the buy, either ways. So let's take, for instance, we have a break of structure to the downside here. I want to show you guys the two types of interest that we have. So we have a break of structure to the downside. Now the first point of interest is the secondary point of interest. The second one is the primary point of interest. Now what do we mean by secondary point of interest? Secondary point of interest always occur after we've taken out our structure range. After we've taken out our structure range, that is when you will see your your secondary point of interest. So this is a structure range break. This is a structure range break. It is around this area you are going to see your secondary point of interest. Some people call it support turned resistance. Yes, that is what some people calls it, but I'm going to be terming it a secondary point of interest. Now how do you know your secondary point of interest here? Zoom in, guys. The first thing you will need to do is, where is our first break of structure when market wants to give us a pullback? Where is the first break of structure when market wanted to give us a pullback to the upside? So this is our break of structure. This is a break of structure for the market to give us this particular pullback. This is the break of structure we had when markets want to give us a pullback. Now from this high to this particular low is our secondary point of interest. From the high we had our break of structure for pullback to this low is our secondary point of interest. That is our secondary point of interest. This is our secondary point of interest. So now you can see I am marking it all out as area of interest. So let's just mark it out. This is my whole area of interest, the whole area of interest from this particular high. From the particular high we had our break of structure for pullback to this low. That is our secondary point of interest. This is our secondary point of interest. Now secondary point of interest are always used when we have distance and momentum, when market breaks the PO high with distance. Okay, when market breaks the PO high with good distance and with a good momentum, with good full body candle, that is when we always use our secondary point of interest. Now to our primary point of interest. Where is our primary point of interest? Where is the primary point of interest? Now the first break of structure that confirmed us that we are about to become bearish. Where is the first break of structure that actually confirmed us that we want to turn bearish? Now you can see, guys, we have a shift of market structure here. There was no structure around this area. There was no structure around this area, so we had shift of structure. So here is where we are going to be marking out our break of structure, our first break of structure that made us know the market is about to turn bearish. So we had this movement to the upside. This is a break of structure to the upside, and this is our break of structure. This is the break of structure. So all of this area from this high to where we have our break of structure here, to where from this high to where we have our break of structure here is where we call our primary point of interest. This is our primary area of interest. this area. This is the primary area of interest. So you can pick out your point of interest from that area, and that is where you see people say we have our sponsored candle, we have our QML candle and the likes, but this is our primary area of interest. This is the primary area of interest. You can see from this high to this particular low we had break of structure. That is our primary area of interest. But for the secondary area of interest that we used here, because the market peradventure used this area to continue to the downside, so this is our secondary point of interest from this high to this particular low. That is where we are marking out our secondary area of interest. We're marking our secondary area of interest. Market can decide to use support and resistance. Market can decide to use a candle here, a failed SC candle that we have here. The market can decide to use it, but then the market used a base candle inside this eye, inside of this area. That is where the market actually used to continue to the downside. This was where the market used to continue to the downside. So you need to mark out your secondary area of interest, mark out your primary area of interest, and then trade based on confirmation. Now when the market got to this secondary area of interest, the 1 hour gave us a good confirmation, because the 1 hour gave a good confirmation, and it gave a good re-entry. You can see, guys, we had this break of structure to the downside. This was a break of structure to the downside. There was a break of structure to the downside here. Hold on, guys. This is a break of structure to the downside, and the market still came back to use the secondary point of interest here to continue to the downside. So it gave a good re-entry, guys. So that is going to be all for now, guys. So keep living in the atmosphere of profit. Practice this over and over again and see what the market is using to continue to the downside, whether the primary point of interest, whether the secondary point of interest. Study your instruments very, very well and get to know what the market is using at that on that particular instrument. Rather, study what the market is using on that particular instrument, and then you are good to go. All right, guys, keep living in the atmosphere of profits. I'm going to see you in the next video. Bye, guys.